Hey everybody, and happy Thanksgiving. Smash-O here, coming at you from the Smash News Network. Least busted name of news, just bringing you the most detailed imagery of the sun and the most comprehensive space weather you'll find anywhere in the world. The videos are chock full of facts. Congratulations on realizing that the channel exists. We're going to go around the horn here as we've got a new sunspot group rising in the northeast. Lots of filaments. Here is the southeast. These are all 24-hour SDO videos there. By the way, that's 2 species of ionized iron, 335 plus 171 angstroms. Great filamentary action happening down there in the southeast. What's going on in the southwest, you ask? Well, we've got that covered too. We like this composite because it gives a great three-dimensionality to the solar corona. And what about the northwest? Some huge filaments up there. In fact, a CME did occur up there. You'll see this filament right up here. Take its leave of absence. There it goes. Pretty much low solar activity, however, in the past 24 hours. We do have a decreasing radio flux. That's the intensity gram from yesterday plus today. Mostly stable there, no major growth or decline of those sunspots. There's a colorized magnetogram that should corroborate what I've just stated, and let's move to invite our viewers to view smashomash.com/smashteam. If you haven't seen it, check it out, smashomash.com/smashteam. Click posts. We just launched our subscription services site last October. So October 2021 was when we first launched smashomash.com/smashteam to replace Patreon, although we still do have Patreon, thanks to everybody who's contributed to the channel the past several years. And it will put our Twitch streams right there on the homepage. Click posts to see what we've been talking about lately. There is a bronze level, there is a gold level, there is a silver level. Thanks most of all to our silver and gold level. The best value is the gold annual paid-up subscription at smashomash.com/smashteam. On that page, you can find links to SureMed. SureMed, it's not insurance. It's an association membership with the American Better Health Organization. DBA SureMed. It offers you all sorts of discounts. It's worth it just for the doctors by phone, a measly $20 a month to not have to go to a physical doctor's office. Also, counselors by phone, virtual veterinarians, dental discounts, vision discounts, save 60% on things like prescription lenses, frames, etc. Discounts on vitamins, durable medical equipment, diabetic supplies, and lots more as a result of being a SureMed member. Our clients love it. Check it out. It's splentacular. You'll also find links to that on the Twitter page. We have a pinned post there on the Twitter profile, twitter.com/smashomash, and if you think free speech is fixed, I don't know what planet you've been living on, but it's clearly not Earth. Let's look at volcanoes. Suwanosejima is still erupting. It's producing a 7,000-foot plume of volcanic ash. Please do not pole vault the caldera. Samisa-Pochnoi has lowered the aviation code to yellow as a decreasing trend of activity continues. So a downtick there at Samisa-Pochnoi. Popocatépetl, no such downtick there. It's exploding, producing sulfur dioxide and a 20,000-foot volcanic ash plume. We'll show you the sulfur dioxide plume later in the video. Fuego in Guatemala exploding. Flight level 160 over Guatemala from Fuego. It's a 16,000-foot ash plume. 22,500-foot ash plume from Nevado del Ruiz in Colombia as it explodes. Sangay and Revenador exploding in Ecuador. 24,000-foot ash plume over Sangay. Flight level 170, a 17,000-foot ash plume over Revenador. Cotopaxi is showing some ground deflation as opposed to inflation. However, it does continue to degas. Gas and steam plumes shown rising 2 kilometers above the crater at Cotopaxi. And Sabancaya unable to detect if Sabancaya is erupting. Please don't assume that it's not. Next, looking at seismicity here. And here are the earthquakes of the past 24 hours. No major quakes. Some in the 5 magnitude range. We're just going to scroll up the list here and let us know in the comments if we've missed anything. We certainly didn't miss this 5.2 at Japan. We certainly didn't miss this 5.1 in the Norwegian Sea happening on the other side of the planet only about 10 minutes later. So a 5.2 and a 5.1 in succession there. Also a 5.1 at the Kermadec Islands region. One at 2053, one at 2122. So some activity north of New Zealand there. Again, no major quakes. There was a 5.1 in the Norwegian Sea. We'll get to it here in a minute. First, this 5.1 in Indonesia. That was at 2:11 this morning on November 24th. Here we've got that 5.4 at the Solomon Islands. Did I fail to mention this one? That was a 5.1 in the Norwegian Sea. Largest quake of the past 24 was a 5.4 there northeast of Australia. And let's get back to space. Space, a frontier. These are the voyages of the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. Once again, congratulations on realizing the channel exists, and thanks for tuning in and stargazing with us. We've got our Thanksgiving colors on our Smash News Network logo. That's the last 24 hours and 171 angstroms. Here's the full disk view, adding 335 angstroms. It's good times. The radio flux has dropped again. The 10.7 centimeter radio flux, the most proportional data set that there is to sunspot number, now at only 113 solar flux units. Oh my God, move to a bunker immediately. Don't worry, folks. We're not even halfway to solar maximum. So here is the 1 year graph for the 10.7 centimeter radio flux represented by this black line. 113 is the current number. The red line below it is the sunspot number. Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard not forecasting any sort of CME strikes or geomagnetic storm or geomagnetic unrest conditions as a result of coronal hole high-speed streams, although we are seeing the onset of a coronal hole high-speed stream, I believe. It doesn't look like the CME that we forecasted ever made it. Although maybe it was a slow mover, it could still arrive, but it may be masked by a signal from the coronal hole high-speed stream. So anyway, this is the last 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from space. Our Geospace Magnetosphere movie depicting magnetohydrodynamic pressure. And the units are nanopascals. Next Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. Also the last 4 hours. The units here are nanotesla, magnetic flux density. Nothing major going on here, although, again, we are seeing the onset of a coronal hole high-speed stream in all likelihood, as we've just seen the solar wind density dropping and the solar wind velocity increasing. We'll get to it soon, right after we talk about the KP index, which is at 0.67 at the moment. KP 0.67. Planetary K index is a measurement of global geomagnetism. And there is the real-time solar wind. So you can see the solar wind density came up here to about 30 protons per cubic centimeter. And now it's starting to drop off, and we're seeing an increase in the solar wind speed at the same time. The telltale sign of a coronal hole high-speed stream, although it's not very high speed at the moment. The speed was all the way down into the 280s. So a very, very slow solar wind there for a while. And now we see some picking up as a coronal hole high-speed stream arrives. Doesn't look like it's very fast so far, although the density wave was significant, so we'll have to see what happens there. Next goes magnetometers, showing a little missing data there. Oh my God, there's missing data. Oh noes, what are we going to do? I guess hide in a bunker. Hide in a bunker, folks. But make sure the bunker's not too deep or too shallow, because a bunker that's very deep is scary, and a bunker that's shallow is also scary. Your bunker has to be just the right depth. Pardon my sarcasm. Next, the top view ecliptic plane field plot, looking at the heliospheric current sheet. Earth lies right in the middle of a North Pole-oriented one, depicted here in green. And as we showed in yesterday's thumbnail, you'll notice that there still is North Pole magnetism hanging out at the North Solar Pole. So it's yet to leave the North Solar Pole. And it's got to do so in order for Solar Cycle 25 to be truly underway. Here's our line of sight field plot depicting the Sunsby field in blue. North Solar Polar Field in green, South Solar Polar Field in red. It also shows the solar magnetogram. And let's move to coronal holes. So here we've got a series of North Pole-oriented coronal holes. You can see this polar one as well. Great view of that. So we've got almost entirely North Pole-oriented coronal holes here, except a few in the southwest. So here's a view from 211 angstroms. Interestingly enough, down here, not sure. Not sure if that's north or south, but we definitely do see coronal holes down here. But these are all certainly North Pole oriented. Those are 100% confirmed North Pole coronal holes. And let's move to sunspots. By the way, neither of these features are more important than other ones. We are getting a more and more in-depth understanding of how solar cycles work. As we immerse ourselves in the data, we often end up with answers to questions not asked. So here's our flare probability monitor and our sunspots. We've got, what the heck? We've got sunspot 3152 down here, but we don't have a name for this one yet, so that'll be 3153. Rest assured that'll get a name today. It is a beta gamma class sunspot group. And frankly, I just missed this one down here. I didn't even see it. I'm not even convinced that there's anything there. So let's take a look at the SDO magnetogram for the past 24 hours. A little bit of magnetism down there. Not sure what's up with that. Let's take a look at a little different view here. This is the SDO continuum plus 131 angstroms. That'll be a little bit more lively for you. And let's zoom in on that. Maybe a sunspot down there. I'm not convinced. We'll take a look at the end of the video at the high-res imagery. And here we've subtracted 131 angstroms. So just the continuum. I believe the most likely place to see a major flare at the moment is from this sunspot group down here. It looks like it's beta gamma delta class. But at least we have at least four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have at least 5 groups that are all beta gamma class. So there is some likelihood of solar flares. Let's talk about energetic particles. First, the ghost proton flux, no spikes there. No relativistic particles showing up for quite a few weeks here. And let's do a cosmic ray report. So welcome to your Thanksgiving cosmic ray report. We'll be looking at 30-day cosmic ray monitors from 6 different locations, as one of them was broken down, at least, when we were doing show prep. So at the moment, we've got a little uptick here, it looks like, at DOMB Antarctica. So going as far south as we can get, DOMB Antarctica showing an uptick over the past 30 days. DOMC Antarctica showing a downtick over the past 30 days. Oulu, that's in Finland, by the way, going very far north. A tiny downtick in the past 30 days at Oulu. Let's head way down south to the land of Mexico. Mexico City, almost completely flat there on the past 30 days. Maybe a tiny uptick, almost flat at Mexico City. Let's go back up north to Greece, where we're getting, must be some kind of cosmic ray overload, as that is not the Athens neutron monitor. Last but not least, we'll head back up north to Apatity and Barentsburg. So Apatity here showing a downtick over the past 30 days. And Barentsburg also showing a downtick over the past 30 days. So cosmic rays are flat to down over the past 30, and now let's talk solar flares. So don't get them confused, folks. Cosmic rays are protons Solar flares are photons. Very different phenomenon. And of course, coronal mass ejections are protons. And solar flares, again, are photons. Like what comes out of a flashlight, not what comes out of a fan. You see the difference? So there's the GOES X-ray flux over the past 3 days here and quite low levels of solar flaring. Let's take a look at some more SDO 24-hour videos. That's a composite, by the way. That's 131 plus 94 angstroms. And let's zoom in and get all up close and personal with those wavelengths. Some splentacular imagery there from SDO, the Solar Dynamics Observatory. Next, moving to a star chart. We're always interested in what's going on over our head. The galactic plane is about to set over the western horizon here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Also Mars, as the sun has just risen, and Cygnus along with it. So that's where things are here at the moment. Let's do a solar system forecast. That's, by the way, in-the-sky.org. Here's our solar system forecast. Happy new moon to all my reverse werewolves out there. We hope you're sleeping well, not cannibalizing humans, and being a productive, useful member of society. And hopefully not a useful idiot. So here is the solar system forecast. We're going to advance this 1 week. Keep in mind the imagery is not to scale. Here's where things will be in a week. We will have a gibbous waxing moon by December 1st. Thursday, December 1st, we'll move into second quarter. And let's take a look at some coronagraphs. So here's yesterday's coronagraphs. And I don't think any of those CMEs are earthly directed. We'll take a look at some more imagery here in a minute. Here are today's coronagraphs. If you want to look at these yourself, by the way, they are located at the George Mason University Space Weather Lab. They are these top ones. There's also great images of Stereo A if you want to look at those. We're going to use a different resource for that, the Integrated Space Weather Analysis Center, to look at Stereo A here at Lagrange 5 and the SOHO LASCO C3 at Lagrange 1. So here's Lagrange 1, SOHO LASCO C3 on your right, Stereo A here on your left. And for you new viewers, if you're not aware of this, from Stereo A's perspective, an Earth-directed CME would have to be down this line, and it would be behind you from the perspective of the SOHO LASCO C3, which means it would have to create a halo in most cases. Occasionally there is a stealthy one that's so concentrated that it stays obscured behind the disk for too long to be visible, which is actually what we were forecasting for today. And don't be surprised, we may still see a little CME impact. We'll be watching the solar wind for that, but so far it looks like it may have been a false alarm. In any case, great imagery there of some CMEs. So we've got one on the far side and one on the near side, but none appear to be in the Earth line. They're all north of Earth or on the opposite side of the sun and south. So no Earth-directed CMEs. Let's take a look at some 24-hour videos here from our custom Helio viewer composites. Fantastic. Fantastic little light show there early in the day on Thanksgiving. First thing, kicking things off with some solar fireworks. Here's a zoomed out version as Venus leaves the frame. Some great imagery there from SOHO LASCO C2, C3, and the SDO. Take a moment to press like, subscribe, share, visit our links, help us out with clicks, become a Patreon. If you're not into our own website, of course, we did create smashomash.com/SmashTeam in response to the pathetic censorship of Facebook back in 2018. And we've laughed and laughed as their share price has declined and declined. As big tech organizations self-destruct, they seem to think that they can break the internet when all they're doing is self-destructing. So welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Congratulations once again on realizing the channel exists. Frankly, we're surprised that you're able to see the videos. On our homepage, you can find a link to the Hemp Lucid Shop, at which the sale continues. So here are the products that you can find there. They're the most popular. The organic, full-spectrum water-soluble CBD. You can also find focus mushrooms, sleep mushrooms, stress mushrooms. You can find full-spectrum CBD edibles, Delta-8 oral strips, and lots more. Great gift ideas here. There are things like body balms and lip balms and all sorts of things, even CBDs for your pets. Check it out if you've never tried it. It may help you out with various different situations going on in life. Free shipping on orders over $69. Again, they make great gifts. Visit our links. You can find them below the video, as well as on the homepage at smashomash.com. Massive number of filaments here in between Earth and Sun. So the solar corona here is very bumpy, very, very bumpy. Huge filaments hanging out down here. Up here you'll see this one that ejected early in the day this morning. Huge filaments, prominences, lots of plasma hanging out. Likelihood of additional coronal mass ejections remains at nearly 100%. Next, a 24-hour video in SDO 304 angstroms, one of the classic wavelengths. And you can see that CME happening and some plasma splashing back down right up here. Feast your eyes on this. Exciting stuff, despite relatively low levels of solar activity. Here's a GO16 over the past about 2.5 hours. We stream it all day long at twitch.tv/smashomash if you want to see what's going on from the GO16's perspective. Install the Twitch mobile app. Again, twitch.tv/smashomash. You can also find it hosted on our Smash Team page at smashomash.com/smashteam. Huge prominence is there rising over the eastern solar equator. Moving into our bonus feature segment, we ain't got no charging hazards. It's smooth sailing for satellites here at the moment. That's from the Satellites Community Dashboard, by the way. And let's take a look at the GOES electron flux, which is quite low here, staying cratered. And again, it looks like the arrival of a coronal hole high-speed stream, so we can expect this to remain low. Perhaps a little, well, it looks like NOAA actually lowered its estimates there. So I would tend to agree with those forecasts, which are the green boxes. The yellow diamonds are the observations. Here is the 1-year graph of the greater than 2 mega electron volt electron fluence. That's from Solon.info, by the way. Let's take a look at the F ionosphere there as we've got ongoing low-frequency anomalies north of the equator. So here's the vibrational frequency, the raw data. This is in megahertz, millions of vibrations per second. It's in many ways to be considered the bridge between Earth and space. The F flare of the ionosphere. That's what's going on in terms of vibrational frequency. And here is the anomalygram. Again, you'll see considerable low-frequency anomalies here for days. Watch our previous videos if you haven't seen it. Ongoing low-frequency anomalies there. In fact, let's try something that you don't normally do here. Let's look at the last 7 days. So this is a special feature that we're bringing you. Give that a minute to load. It's going to be a lot of data. Again, we've had enduring low-frequency anomalies here. So you'll see north of the equator there, ongoing low-frequency anomalies happening. Keep in mind, we are approaching winter in the northern hemisphere. And this is the anomaly in megahertz from the 30-day median. So it's not intended to mean that we're all going to die. We're all going to die. That's not what I'm trying to say. So don't misconstrue it. So a rare glimpse into the 7-day anomalygram. See some major low-frequency anomalies happening there in the 21st and 22nd. Some polar low-frequency anomalies happening there in the 22nd. And there's yesterday. And moving into today so far. And here's the latest image. That's 12:30 Universal Time ionogram, 12:30 Universal Time anomalygram. Next, we'll look at total electron content. Here's the still map from Australian Government Bureau of Meteorology. The highest total electron content is above the African Rift Zone there, just northwest of Madagascar. Total electron content depicts the electrons from the inner portion of the outer Van Allen belt down to ground level. That's the distance between your GPS satellite and your handset, which is about 12,500 miles. And here is the global animated view of the total electron content forecast. Let me shrink that down one level. And we're seeing some electrons here significantly out of place, as we've been seeing recently. No real surprise there, as it is a normal feature of coronal hole high-speed streams. The redder that appears, the more likely you are to see massive GPS errors. Of course, if you're around the equator at noon, you can expect to see GPS errors of thousands of miles. Your GPS basically doesn't work. We're also seeing some major GPS errors over North America. We'll let it play through one more time. That's the coupled thermosphere, ionosphere, plasmasphere electrodynamics model. Next, looking at the latest intensitygram and latest a colorized magnetogram, because I want to see this sunspot down here that I'm not convinced exists. And it's because there ain't no sunspot there. So that's probably why. This group up here is beta gamma class. Definitely two opposite polarity umbrae visible there. And this group down here is, I believe, beta gamma delta class. Let's check it out. If it is, it's just barely. It's actually lost a little complexity while we did show prep. It's still beta gamma delta class, barely. This sunspot here is only alpha class. So anyway, that's the situation. Here's the rock back. Guess we ought to look at this group too. There you go. That one's actually beta gamma delta class. Anyway, that's what's going on in terms of the latest intensitygram and latest colorized magnetogram. Let's bring up one more series of images here. I like this one. It's got the colorized magnetogram as well as 171 angstroms together. That is the data from yesterday plus today. And now it's time to move into the realm of meteorology. A decade ago, I realized it's too easy to forecast the weather. Probably 15 years ago, actually. And so let's do it. Let's talk about some weather stuff. Now, a lot of times, people will say, hey, it's very humid. And if somebody says it's very humid and you look outside and you see rain, fog, sleet, or snow, you can say, yeah, it's very humid. The relative humidity is 100%. Because when you reach 100% relative humidity, you achieve precipitation. Or you could say dew point, the point at which water can no longer remain vapor and must condense into droplets, snowflakes, etc. So this is the relative humidity, and it's very humid around the Gulf Coast at the moment. That's the relative humidity, one of the many features visible on nullschool.net. So relative humidity, super sweet. If you click someplace and it shows 100%, that means it's precipitating there. It's literally the definition of relative humidity. Australia looking pretty dry at the moment. So let's switch to the wind maps here. Here is the surface wind scenario for the eastern world. Like sands through the hourglass in time. Like sands through the hourglass of time, these are the jet streams of the eastern world. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our viewers from all around the planet. It is a holiday in the U.S. And let us know what your leftover recipes are. We're having turkey mac and cheese. So we bought some imported rotini, I believe it is, some imported rotini pasta to use with our, because it's not actually macaroni, it's really rotini and cheese, and you get the idea. There's the jet stream scenario over the western world. Here is the surface wind situation. We've got a north to south wind here blowing east of the Rockies and an offshore wind between Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. Here are the surface winds of the central world. Oh my God, here are the jet streams. Dear God. And by the way, today's featured product is to be announced. Save 20 to 60% site-wide at the Redbubble shop. They make great gifts. Maybe pick up a Face of Evil Fauci fraudster bath mat. We just ordered one for one of our pals. You know who you are. Ha 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 ha. No, you don't. You don't know who you are. Anyway, seriously, they make great gifts. So check it out. Perhaps pick up a Fauci fraud Are You Accountable? Remember, folks, fraud, it's the intentional misrepresentation of material facts. And when there's a pattern of something, remember, folks, 2 data points does not make a pattern, but 3 does. And it only took Fauci until December of 2020 to reach 3 obvious fraud points. Anyway, today's featured product is our 3rd bestseller. These are in order of best-selling, by the way. And it is being worn by me right now, actually. So check it out. It's the Mensa hat. Make Earth not suck again. It's up to you. So don't forget to think global and act local. Make Earth not suck again. It's one of the many mottos of the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. We don't cite a bunch of nonsense on the channel. We just state facts. We give good advice as opposed to idiotic advice. Mensa. Make Earth not suck again. It's up to you, not heaving bureaucracies that are unable to get out of their own way or do their own job effectively. You know any bureaucracies like that? Well, if you do, let us know in the comments. Tell us your favorite bureaucracy that's unable to do its own job. I'll bet you've got a huge list. Hit us up in the comments. We'll be more than happy to loll about it. Is it Meta? Is it Apple? Is it Google? How about Twitter? What about your governor? How's your governor working out for you? Are you located in California? God help you. How's your governor working out? We're in Pennsylvania, and let's just say I've been a wee tad critical of Governor Tom Wolf over the past pushing 3 years. His utter incompetence has been making Pennsylvania suck. So to all of our viewers around the world, make Earth not suck again. It's up to you. Press like, press subscribe, press share if you enjoy the content. Tell your friends and foes about us. Leave us a comment. Pick up some merch. Give Smash staff a raise by becoming a member of the Smash team at the gold or silver level or becoming a Patreon. Smash staff desperately needs a raise, or she's going to be sending me tiny rocks of coal for Christmas. So help her out. Help the channel out by pressing share, subscribe, like, etc. Visit our links. Help us out with clicks if you're unable to open your cobweb-encrusted wallet. Thanks to everybody who has supported the channel throughout the years as we bring you only the most detailed imagery of the sun and comprehensive space weather in the known universe. Let's get back to meteorology. This is what's going on in terms of clouds and fog over the western world. Let me scroll back over here. There you go. Let's try to steer a little better here. There we go. All right. Cool. Clouds and fog, 3.9 nanometer radiation, part of the infrared spectrum on the NASA GOES Interactive Weather Satellite Suite. Here is our weather.gov map. If your county's lit, click your county. Or if your waterway's lit, click your. If your waterway's lick your county. I mean, if your waterway is lit, click your waterway. That's what I meant to say. Whew, okay. No censorship required for any of these statements. By the way, those are winter storm warnings over portions of Texas. Yeah, Texas. Also some good surf looking like it's rolling in at Hawaii. Weather.gov, if your county's lit or your waterway, click your location. So here's our snowfall forecast. Positive accumulated snow depth change in inches, and yes, there's snow coming to Texas. As much as like 6 inches apparently coming to portions of the western part of the state. Some areas of southern New Mexico expected to see like a foot of snow. Pushing 2 feet of snow. I see some green there on the map, so pushing 2 feet of snow in portions of New Mexico. It's not something you see every day. Let's take a zoom in on that. That's a 72-hour GFS positive snow depth change forecast. Here's a closer look. How about them apples? Not even December yet. As the snow continues to fall. Oh my God, it's so hot that it's cold, folks. Oh, no, it's so hot that it's cold. An actual argument brought up by people that apparently are thermodynamics deniers. Next, here's our pressure and precipitation forecast for the next 72 hours based on the GFS model. Heavy storms going to start in Texas, move across Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Alabama. And let's move on, as we don't want the video to be too lengthy. So next we're looking at a feature that we promised to bring you yesterday. So this is the sulfur dioxide map, and that is sulfur dioxide coming from Popocatépetl. So it's definitely producing quite a lot of sulfur dioxide. If you look, it's 110 milligrams per meter squared. And down here it's 1.5, so like 70 times as much sulfur dioxide there. Windy.com, it's got some great features, not the least of which is sulfur dioxide. So Hawaii looking like it's pretty quiet there, a little bit of sulfur dioxide. Here's some major sulfur dioxide points here. Some volcanic islands there in Oceania. Windy.com, they got a great mobile app as well. It is free. And let's move to the NASA GOES lightning mapper, as we've got some significant lightning here over Texas over the past about 10 hours. Let's take a look at a real-time lightning map, as we may have some terrestrial strikes, and indeed we do, in between Austin and Dallas. Kylene, Texas. Some lightning rolling in around Fort Hood. Oh no, it's a live fire area. It must be directed energy weapons, not natural phenomenon, right? Yes, oh my God, it's Project Bluebeam. Or whatever nonsense people are talking about this week on YouTube. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well, TinMan1057. Thanks for leaving a comment. So there we've got some active lightning cells. They're not super active though. Also some more active cells down here, southwest of San Saba. East of Brady, Texas. So some active cells there. Also some activity here southwest of Shreveport. Hey, Carthage, there's thunder rolling in. That's a real-time lightning map, by the way, from lightningmaps.org. Next time you hear thunder, check it out. Convince the natives that you're Zeus or Thor or something like that. Here's our U.S. Doppler radar map. We're going to close things out here. We'll focus on the lower 48 for the remainder of the video. There's vertical motion of water droplets. Here is 3.9 nanometer radiation showing clouds and fog while half of the country is still dark. And here is the water vapor map. As some major moisture is rotating in here from places like Alberta and British Columbia. So let's close things out with a recap. U.S. Doppler radar map. Shortwave radiation showing clouds and fog. And last but not least, water vapor. Thanks again for tuning in, viewers. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our viewers from around the world, from Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off. And may that solar wind be at your back.